dooba 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 up da da doo ha. That was just something pretty funny, guys. Like I just had to open with something like that. Like I know, like really. Welcome to the Ray and Finny Show podcast, guys. I'm your host Ray, who is the host of the Ray and Finny Show podcast. This is episode 34, and this episode we're going to be talking about some stuff we've talked about before, and adding a lot of new stuff to it, and even a little bit of new stuff too. This entire episode right here is going to be about a bunch of conspiracies, or what some people on the left would call conspiracy theories. And so, judging by the title and the image, the cover image of the podcast, I think you can clearly tell what. Oh yeah. I think you can clearly tell what we're going to be talking about here. We are going to be talking about demons and aliens and other forms of conspiracies and stuff like that. Like literally, there's a whole lot we're going to be talking about right here. All right. I wanted to get into the alien stuff, alien and demon and other kind of stuff like that. Illuminati, I'm going to get into Alan Watts. Who talked about the Illuminati a little bit, but and plus, like you said, you got to be very careful when you're talking about it, because some stuff is conflicting and some stuff isn't. Some stuff doesn't make any sense, and some stuff you can get a little odd with it in some ways. So you got to be very careful. But the first thing that I want to talk about was the demon stuff. The alien and demon stuff. Give me 1 second right here. I'm gonna bring that image back up again. So give me one moment, guys. I'm gonna bring the image up. Aleister Crowley demon. Right here. All right. Come on. Where the hell is it? Oh, right here. This is the image right here. I'm gonna show you guys. So give me a second. I'm gonna pull this right up and yeah, right here, guys. As you can see, I've talked about Aleister Crowley before in the past. In case you don't know who he is, Aleister Crowley, he was a Luciferian. And basically, he did a bunch of occult rituals, and he was a part of the Committee of 300, which, if you didn't know, the Committee of 300 is part of the Illuminati. They are the 300 of the richest families in the entire world, and they make all the they make a lot. They decide if a new country gets created, or if a war can be declared, or certain trade deals and stuff like that. It's a bunch of weird stuff, but they're really the ones around the world who control everything. So you guys get the general idea who they are. And Crowley was a member of the Committee of 300. And another thing, part of the Committee of 300, Darwin was a member of the Committee of 300. And Darwin, the guy who is the guy behind the theory of evolution, if you guys do your research, you would know that Darwin was a crook, and a lot of his things didn't even make any sense. Literally, he was not a good dude, and he was not even a smart dude to begin with. But he was part of the Committee of 300, and also the Darwins, they married and interbred with the Huxleys. If you don't know who Huxley is a guy who was a member of the Committee of 300 too. And Huxley was the guy who helped Orwell write 1984. And Orwell was a member of the Committee of 300 as well. And if you guys know 1984, the giant book that is about a dystopian future, which this communist state, et cetera, et cetera. There's all this weird stuff connected to it. Basically, if you look at 1984 and look at a lot of things that are going on right now, it's really similar, and it's really scary too. A bunch of dark shit is upon us. So we got to make sure that this stuff does not happen. But that aside, and talk about Crowley. Yes, he was part of the Committee of 300, and he was a Luciferian. And everyone in the Committee of 300 is either a Satanist or a Luciferian, one of the two. Some may be both, or maybe they're all Luciferians or something like that. I don't know, but I haven't figured that out. And here's the thing, though. Crowley, he wrote a book in the early, I believe it was 1917, yeah. And basically in the book, like I've said before, don't read the book but if you do, read it slowly and take your time with it, because that book is actually so dark. Like there's so much in it that I think that book can actually corrupt you. So if you read it, just take your time. Don't rush through it. Like I'm literally just going over it like fast. Like you'll just get imploded with it, and bloated, and it will corrupt you. So yeah, I advise you to just take your time with it. But if you had to ask me, don't read it at all. But that aside, and in the book, Crowley describes in the book that he did a ritual and he conjured up a demon, and basically like in the demon, like it was called Lamb, I believe that's what it was called, and basically like it talked to him, but it didn't talk to him like face to face. It talked to him in his head. It appeared, but it talked to him in his mind. And basically, like afterwards, he had the picture, the description of the demon drawn out, and right here, this image right here on the left, the one I'm showing you guys. You guys can't, if you're listening to audio, you can't see it, but it's the one on the left in the big image of the cover photo. And if you look at this image without just look at this image plain and simple, and just it came to your head, you would be like, holy shit, that looks just like a gray alien. Like it has the big head, bald head. It has weird eyes. It has the nose, the small mouth, and the chin and stuff like that. Like that looks just like a gray alien. And plus, this drawing was actually was done in, like, I believe, like in the book, and this drawing was in about 1917, which was about 30 or so years before the Betty and Barney Hill story. And the Betty and Barney Hill story, if you guys remember, that is the like the very first known story of like alien encounters or alien abductions or something like that. Literally, it was a huge story that it broadcast all over, and it was a huge headline. Like literally, it was so big and so weird and stuff like that. Like, but so you get the idea. And this image right here of this looks like the classic gray alien, like the way that you would see it in real life. Like this is obviously a composition of it, but you still get it. It has the head, has the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Like there's no expressions on it, and like literally you get the general idea. It looks just like the classic alien, like we think. And so basically, like in my view, is like this is like about 30 years before the Betty and Barney Hill story. So clearly they would either have to have known about aliens beforehand or something else. Because like I'm gonna be honest right here. There was a time until recently where I believed that the gray aliens were real. I used to believe that. I was so deep in it. I believed it so much, like so much. And then I recently did a whole bunch of research. Like I've listened to different podcasts, some podcasts, yeah, and literally looked at the government just talk about, oh, these UFO sightings, they're from interdimensional or blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, you guys are hiding something. Like if this was really aliens like this, you would not be pushing that like that, because you would be trying to protect you. You would at least think you'd be trying to protect us, or who knows, whatever. But like, I actually think you guys, the government, has some sort of technology that they haven't been, or military weapons that they have not been sharing with us. And so, like, I think that these UFO sightings, these video stuff, these are actually the military or the government, and they're just showing it off and they're testing it out. And people just all of a sudden catch a glimpse of them, or like you get a video recording of them or something like that. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that weird about this, but I still don't think it's out of the realm of possibility though. I think it's probable that it is the U.S. government. I don't know it is, but I'm obviously not there and stuff like that. But I think it probably is the U.S. government now, because because there's so much bullshit stories of UFOs. There's hundreds of thousands until recently, these last 2 years. Which what happened to all these UFO sightings over the last 2 years? Ever since 2020, there's been no UFO sightings, at least none of that I've noticed. And so clearly it all stopped. So Do the aliens catch C-19? Are they aware of it? Do they get infected? Who knows? Like, it's a whole bunch of garbage nonsense like that, guys. So you get the general idea. Like, I do not believe that the gray aliens are real. I believe that they are actually demons. So my theory about this drawing of Lamb, or this demon that Aleister Crowley conjured up, my theory is that this is either this is probably a demon, like whether or not it's just one demon on itself, or because like in all these supposed gray alien abductions things, like whether or not they're hallucinating or just lying in general, or if it actually is happening, but they think it's aliens, but what it is actually demons that have captured them and like torturing them or something like that. Who knows what this could what that is, or if it's the U.S. government just capturing people and then just shouting like using hallucinates and making them look like aliens or whatever. So that's what I think. There probably is either one demon, or it could just be one demon and just like manipulating to look like there's more of them. So like, who knows what it is? Or this is just a certain species of demons, obviously like there's a lot of demons that work for Satan and Lucifer. Like they're like the devil, he is the father of lies, and demons are his manipulators. So maybe these demons right here that we're looking at, they could be the small section of demons. Like obviously there's the regular demons that we all think of, and then there's these demons that also work for them, but they just look a little different. So there's multiple of them. There's not just one of these, there's multiple of them. So I think that's a real possibility right here. Like literally. And like also, so whether or not it's also not just the grays that people think of when you think of aliens, there's also the other forms of aliens that people think of. The lizard people, the lizard aliens, whatever you want to call them. Like that's also another form of alien sighting or abduction that people supposedly report or whatever. Some sort of reptilian, humanoid, or whatever you want to call it. That's another thing that is described. I used to actually also believe in the lizard people. Like I literally believed in it beforehand, but until I listened to a few other people, and then the main one I listened to was Alan Watt. And if you guys don't know who Alan Watt is, he is an Alex Jones, David Icke type of guy, and he's actually called out David Icke a few times because he says that he believes David Icke. He is real in a lot of ways, but he's also been given a lot of fake information too. That like he's given real information, the truth, but in it he's there are people who's given him the information is also intentionally giving him fake information so that when he says it, like it makes him look stupid. So like literally like the lizard, like shape-shifting lizard people, like obviously that is a bunch of horse shit. There's no way that's real. And then the other hand, you got a different guy. I forgot who his name was. But there's actually a guy out there who believes his own mother is like an 8 or 9 foot tall alien. Literally, like this stuff gets really weird. Like it is really weird stuff. Like, like I want to show you guys this David Icke thing. Well, not David Icke, this Alan Watt thing, where he talks about David Icke and how a lot of the things about him. Like, give me 1 second. Alan Watt on David Icke. I'm going to show you guys this video right here, where he actually talked about him. I think this is the actual video right here. Right here. Is this it? Yes, this one is it right here. I'm going to show you guys this video right here, where he talks about David Icke and these shape-shifting lizard people and how the shape-shifting lizard people are a bunch of horse shit. So we're going to go right into this. Right here. And Alan Watt, literally, I believe last year, he passed away. All of a sudden passed away when he actually was in his 40s, late 40s, 50s, and he was actually a really healthy guy. And all of a sudden he died. You're telling me that is just a huge coincidence that he died all of a sudden for no reason? Could it just be from the stress that just overwhelmed him and stuff like that and just took him early? Or was someone actually behind it? Who knows? Like literally, I want to know. All right, I'm going to show you this video right now in case I'm gonna show you guys this video now. Okay, we're gonna go right into this. Right here you go.
So many people have been that they follow certain radio stations, the Patriot type things. A lot of them are phony, I'm afraid to say. They don't give them all the real information they need to know. And they're so confused that they're following different types of gurus like David Icke and different ones that lead them out in circles. I've never seen so many confused people in my life, really.
Well, David Icke's an interesting story, actually. I don't know much about him, but I've seen some of his material, and when he got into the shape-shifting lizards and said it with a straight face,
yeah.
I found it very hard to believe that there are individuals who are truly shape-shifting lizards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's the key behind this. Now, this is something people should realize. MI5 and MI6 have a place outside the Cotswolds. It's called the Cotswolds outside London, where they train people to go out into the world and create mysticism and confusion. And Aleister Crowley was one of the first men they sent out there to set up the OTO.
And like I said, we discussed Aleister Crowley before we got into this stuff. Yeah.
The Order Templi Orientis, a higher Masonic group, which most people in Hollywood join and most musicians join, and they've followed him up with many others since. Now, David Icke took everyone else's work, who'd done the real investigations. He shot to the top. All the doors open from him. You couldn't buy that kind of publicity unless someone gave the nod at the top. It cost millions just to publicize him. And he became a superhero, leads all the people using all of this information of other authors, and then leads you off like the Pied Piper in a circle to the lizard people. And all of those authors in the back of his book are now ridiculed into the same place as he's taken you. That's called counterintelligence.
Sure. Oh no, it's very effective because if they can make you out to be Looney Tunes, and everybody he's mentioning goes with him.
Uh-huh.
Do you think he's aware he's a pawn?
I'm sure he knows exactly what he's doing. He phoned the Sweet Liberty site some years ago, and then got in touch with me for a lot of the information that he used, and the only stipulation was that he didn't spin it off into any odd series of serpents and so on.
As well. And I believe David Icke and Alex Jones, they are actually telling the truth. But within the truth that they get, there are people that are giving them fake information to go along with it, and they actually believe it. And it makes them look like idiots, and all their fans look like idiots. So certain stuff with Alex Jones, for instance, clearly he was given some fake information that he actually believed, and it made him look bad. Obviously, with Alex Jones, the big thing that he got wrong, and yes, he got it wrong, and he's even admitted that he got it wrong, but that was the Sandy Hook situation. Now, I'm not going to go into that situation. You can look that up there. But when you look it up, you'll see why. He's admitted he was wrong, and yes, he did get that wrong. There's no question about that. And also, he got Y2K wrong. And Y2K, that was actually really kind of an embarrassment to not just him, but a lot of people. Because Y2K was the biggest bunch of crap that you could even think of. There is no way that the computer systems were going to crash the way that they said that it was. There's no way. It just didn't make any sense, any logical sense, and I don't see how it could happen. So you can look at it how you want to, but that's just what it is. So, And also, I did want to show you guys another thing about Alan Watt. When he actually talked about before I get into that, he's even said David about shape-shifting lizard people, how obviously stupid that is, because there's no shape-shifting lizard people out there. Because clearly what the elites and the Illuminati are trying to do, they're allowing people to give them the real information, but within that information, there's lies and bullshit that is so ridiculous that if any sane person heard, they would think, okay, this guy is full of shit. It's clearly not real at all. This guy is a crazy dude. But that's what they're intending to do. They're trying to make these people, people like Alex Jones or David Icke, crazy. I even look probably crazy when I talk about aliens and UFOs in that previous video. Like it was titled Aliens and UFOs. Now that was 2 months ago, and I don't really believe much of what I said there anymore. Like I said, I do not believe that the gray aliens are real. I do not believe that the lizard people are real. I think it's a whole bunch of bull crap that that is put out there to make people look bad. But yeah, I want to get right into this next video about Alan Watt, because Alan Watt is a very resourceful person and he knows a whole lot of stuff right here. But yeah, I want to get right into this right here.
So
right here. This is Alan Watt right here. He's actually a really cool guy, and not many people have even heard of him or even know anything about him. But he's actually very philosophical, and he knows a whole bunch of weird stuff too. But this stuff is actually true though, and it's dark. Let's get into it.
So you got to be careful with the whole Illuminati stuff because there's a big movement on, and Sunstein talked about the movements, how we ridicule, destroy a patriot movement from within. That's been going for some time. And I've gone on shows where they'll talk about the Illuminati and I'll try and waylay it. I've had top movie makers phone me up, and one of them a few years ago there, he was coming right up to see me that day. He's coming right up to do a whole film on me. And then he said at the very end, after an hour talking, he says, and when you bring in the aliens and the UFOs, and I said, what? The guy had heard on my stuff, read my stuff. I said, what? He says, you know, I said, no, I won't fool the public. And he kind of hummed.
And yeah, clearly, like, he did not want to fool the public, because whoever this lobbyist was, they were actually trying to make Alan Watt like a whole bunch of what a lot of other conspiracy theorists are. Like, they're trying to make him look like an idiot, just like them. But clearly, he was not fooled like a lot of other people are. But that aside, yeah.
And Hod, and that was the last I heard of him. He does a lot of movies for a lot of big guys, and he's got lots of funding to set them up. That's counterintelligence. If I'd gone and done that, I'd have raked in the cash. But I'm not here for the cash.
Yeah.
It's the same thing on one of the major shows at night. The guy asked me if I'd go easy on certain people who I knew were there to ridicule the Patriot movement. And I said, no, I won't. He says, if you do, he says, I'll have you on every week or 2 weeks. He says, you know, that promises a big money because you get so much exposure. And I said, no, I won't do it.
Yeah.
And then even in today's paper, there's one about the lizard man who is raking in the big cash with big following.
Yeah.
And a guy who said he was God and the world was going to end in 1997. And it takes stuff from all the books that are out there on conspiracies, shoves it in his own.
Yeah.
And just straight out, in it goes. You do it in a week. And
yeah.
Next thing you know, it rakes in the cash. And there are people getting their minds so screwed up. So the Patriot business, as you want to call it, or exposure, ends up being a circus.
Yeah.
A circus is where here's a bearded lady. Here's a bearded lady dwarf. Here's the guy who's 8 feet tall. You know? And here's a woman with 3 breasts. and there's our Alan Watt with the documentation of what's really been happening. That's how I get lumped in with them. You understand?
Yeah.
See how it works? Do you understand how this works? How you end up ridiculing the few out there who are giving nothing but documentation and truth. This is called counterintelligence, for those who don't understand. It's very simple to do.
Yeah.
You can set up people to be agents so simply, so simple. And lots of folk want to follow that stuff because it takes the onus off doing anything. You can concentrate on your spirituality, and you can go up the old Illuminati colors up to violets and become godlike, and stuff like that. Ooh.
Ooh.
People love that stuff. They don't like the hard fact truths because the onus comes back on you. What are you going to do about all of this?
Yeah.
You understand that? So it's up to you who you want to follow. I don't really care, personally.
Yeah.
And I can remember the old UFO thing. It turned into a massive religious cult.
Yeah.
They had pilgrims coming from thousands of miles in the US. These big, long caravan trails of people wearing hoods and gowns like priests and ministers and UFO symbols. And that was a big CIA operation to see if it could be done.
Yeah.
Of course it could be done. Now we know that. From Hamish, myself, from Ontario, Canada, it's good night to me. Your God or your gods go with you.
Well, Alan Watt is a very cool guy. He was. And then Like, and he was clearly someone who was not part of the system, at least not in the way that we think he is. Like Alan Watt was a truthful guy, and he did because he didn't. And like he said, people are given information that's fake that to go with the real one to make it look fake, to make it look bad, because that's called counterintelligence. They're intentionally trying to make people look like idiots just to make them easier to control. That's their whole point right here. Like clearly, there is no shape-shifting lizard people. There are no gray aliens. Unless, well, I believe that they're probably demons. They're what they are. They're demons. They're not aliens, though. Like, 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 literally, like you actually believe that these gray aliens came came who knows how many light years away to just stick things up people's bum bums. Oh my god! Like literally. Like yeah, like you get the idea. Like there's no way that those kinds of aliens like that would even come here from like millions from who knows how many light years away. Like it just doesn't make any logical sense. Just wasting fuel too and wasting your time. You're not going to learn anything from here. You're just going to make yourself look like they're just going to make themselves look like idiots. So clearly, all this nonsense right here is fake. No, my mistake. Alan Watt is a really cool guy. I want to go to see if his website is still up. www.cuttingthroughthematrix.com. I want to talk to this clearly with Alan Watt. Like that, like Alan Watt, I'm a big fan of him. Like you got to go look him up because like he has talked about so much stuff. Like there's a whole lot of dark shit that he's talked about. Like clearly there's a whole lot of stuff too. Now I'm not going to go right into this that much, but as you can clearly see, like he actually believes in freedom. He's patriotic. He truly is, and like he does not fall for any of this nonsense that that's so weird. It makes no sense whatsoever. Well, like he believes that there are Illuminati. That is true, but not in this. But like the sense that like there's shape shifting lizard people. No, there are no shape shifting lizard people out there at all. Not even a little. All right, give me 1 second. Like you can go back in there and look through it yourself, but we'll get into that. But you can. But I'm not going to go talk too much about that. But yeah. Like you see, like he actually has a guy. I believe that's his face right there. Put him on a karate guy who's kicking the eye of the Illuminati off the pyramid because, clearly he was anti establishment. He clearly was. He did not believe that in the establishment at all. He thinks that the establishment was actually something that was pure evil. Like clearly, it was something bad, and he was telling people the truth, and then people whatever happened, he died, and then so yeah. Now there are clearly no like aliens in the sense that we think about. Like there are no like aliens, gray aliens from outer space. Now, like there's like the thing with them being like demons. There are things that can back that up. Like clearly, give me a second right here. There are things that can back that up. All right, there you go. Sorry about that, guys. But DMT can back up the demon idea and back up that there's interdimensional beings because if you guys don't know, DMT is like a psychedelic drug. Well, obviously everyone knows that it is. But DMT and other psychedelic drugs that when you take them, it like almost allows you to enter another dimension. It lets you see things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to see. Clearly it's hard to describe what a DMT experience looks like because I've never done one. I hope to do one in the future though, but that aside. Clearly the thing about DMT, there's so many shapes and colors, and all these weird angles. Clearly it's so not real, but it is so real at the same time from what I've heard. We're gonna go right into that here in a second. I'm gonna show you some DMT experiences and stuff. Clearly, I'll show you what the basic thing of a DMT experience would look like first. Give me 1 second. The DMT experience. Clearly right here. Right here. These are some DMT trips. This is actually something that a DMT trip would. Wait, sorry guys about that. Sorry about that. That didn't work. But these are some of this is what a DMT trip would look like. Like clearly, and this is like nothing compared to what it actually would look like, because all this stuff would actually be moving in weird angles. And it's so weird stuff. Or like this, like what you need to know about DMT experiences. Like clearly see the eye, and you see all these weird shapes and colors. Like it's so it's actually more alien like than what you actually think an alien would be. If a gray alien, which they're not real, but say you hypothetically say it was and you saw it, it would be nothing compared to this kind of experience. Now, these this DMT trip, this could allow that this might be what allows these gray demons, these gray-like demons to come through. And also another thing, when people do DMT, they see court jesters or elves, whatever you want to call them. They see these. Like I'm going to show you these. DMT court jester. Like right here. Like this looks like a lot of scary stuff right here. But like Joe Rogan's talked about this, like whenever he's done DMT, he's actually seen the court jesters. Like there's so many of them there. And basically, like one of the things that they do is like they try to give you information, but they also want you to calm down, and they know all your BS, and they try to help you get in touch with actual reality. And like they basically help you and stuff like that. Literally, like Joe Rogan even described that the last time he did DMT, he saw a bunch of court jesters actually giving him the finger. Like they were just saying "F you, F you, F you," and they were just laughing and mocking him. And then when he realized that, oh, he takes himself too seriously. And then when he thought that, they realized what he was thinking, and they said, "Oh, ho, 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 ho." So they were trying to get him to not take life so seriously anymore. I know this stuff sounds like a whole bunch of weird, wacky stuff, but this is actually but this stuff is actually real. There are DMT court jesters out there, and there are other interdimensional beings out there. They're not just always described as court jesters, though. They're also described as elves, or they look like the same thing, but some were different in a lot of ways. Where are they? I'm trying to find this right here. Something like this. Like as you can see right here, this is so weird. It makes no sense. Like clearly, you see, this is like what an experience would look like. It's so colorful and so like weird and robotic like. It's almost impossible for you to even imagine this. But you clearly can't. But this is what it is. Or like machine elves, like this is a theory that the DMT elves are. Now, I don't believe that. I believe that there are actual interdimensional beings. The DMT, if you something about DMT is the body is constantly making it. Like these chemicals are actually released all the time. And there's actually a theory that dreams are actually DMT experiences, really. Like your brain releases these chemicals and they allow you to travel through these dream-like scenarios. That's how that's how dreams get so weird and so not impossible like. You can do all these weird things. Yeah, and there's also another theory that when you die, these DMT chemicals, they are released, and these are the portal that allows you to travel to the other side. This is what happens. And obviously, even though DMT also does prove the afterlife. Even though without DMT, I believe in the afterlife. I'm spiritual. I believe in God and the Bible and stuff like that. And I believe that there is a life afterwards. I believe that this DMT stuff actually proves it. And plus people have had near-death experiences could swear that it was a DMT trip. And also there are some people who have died and reported when they were in their little transit or whatever it was, they actually saw relatives and friends and stuff like that. And literally, they actually truly believed it. Truly will say that it was real. And I believe them because There's so much to the universe that there is to be explored. There is so much about the universe that we do not know, and we should know what this stuff is. Because this is so weird stuff. But I know I'm repeating a lot of things I'm saying, but this is how it is. There is so much to know. And plus, the elites and the Illuminati, I believe they want to know the secrets of the universe because their ultimate goal is to live forever. That's what they're trying to do, and they use they're using DMT to try to find out the secrets to the universe because they're trying to travel to the other side and find things and that. They do experiments with DMT. Even Alex Jones, who has said beforehand, and I believe him when he says this. He said that there are groups in California, I forgot exactly where, but they basically have everyone take the ayahuasca and DMT, and basically it was a whole bunch of it, and they took high dose of it, and they were in the woods, and then all of a sudden they said 50 of these elves, I forgot how many of them there were, but these elves or court jesters or things. They just walked out of the woods and they started talking to them, and literally these people, and they thought these were just hallucinations. But when you look at that, no. Hallucinations is like a drug. Everyone sees something different. Everyone was seeing the exact same thing, and these elves were saying the exact same things that these people were hearing. Clearly, these elves were telling them weird stuff. Or another thing, they're not just with that story, but they've also done other stories. There's also been other stories where people have taken high doses of DMT and they went into meetings with these elves, they intentionally did, and making deals with them, clearly trying to something about the universe. Elves, they want to lower population and they want to lower this and that and this and do whatever this. Clearly, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff connected to this. The Illuminati. Their goal is to live forever. They're trying to find every secret to the universe that they can. And this DMT and other forms of psychedelics, like maybe shrooms and even marijuana, even though at the end of the day, marijuana is nothing even close to DMT or shrooms, but clearly they're using this kind of stuff THC can actually help you. Well, I don't know if it's THC. I don't think that's what it is, but I forgot which chemical it was, but it can help. It helps you put you in a weird state like this. And there's also, speaking of THC and stuff like that, there's also a theory. I'm not saying I necessarily believe this theory, but this is something I've heard. Moses DMT Bush. Clearly, I want to see if I can find that. Right here. Right here. Right here. And one of the theories about this is that when Moses, when he's with the burning bush, the story with the burning bush, and he talked to God through it. One of the theories is that that it was I believe it was the acacia tree. I believe it was the acacia tree. I'm not sure. That's one of the theories it was, but I don't know. And the acacia tree, which is rich with, I believe it was THC. I forgot exactly which chemical it was, but it's the same kind of chemical that is rich with all this. Yes. Basically, basically the theory is that he thought he was in the experience talking with God, or God was actually there, truly was talking to him like that. But he traveled through the DMT, and he had a trip that allowed him to talk to Moses. Now I'm not saying I necessarily believe that. I believe God was actually talking to Moses, but was he doing it through DMT? It's possible, but I'm not sure I believe that, because I believe God can just do what he wants. He can travel through alternate dimensions if he wants. He can talk to whoever he wants on Earth, and just say however it is, and just talk however he wants. You guys get the idea. God can do whatever he wants. I don't think he needs a thing to travel to this world to be able to speak to him. I don't believe that part. I don't believe that part for 1 second at all. But another thing, you can interpret it however you want. Like you would have to convince me. It would take a while to convince me of that. But it would take a while, like I said. Now, another experience of like what a DMT trip would look like. I want to show you if you guys know the movie Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, he's a Marvel character who is a sorcerer who deals with a lot of magic and stuff like that. And there's a whole bunch of stuff connected with it. And so, like, what I'm going to talk to you, the mirror. There's a dimension in the movie called the mirror dimension, which he travels to a lot, where the dimension is all around us at the same time, but it's so weird, like clearly, like it's like the matter is moving in weird ways. Like it clearly makes no logical sense. Like plates are moving weird, buildings are weird, the sky and the atmosphere is moving in all these weird angles and code. Like clearly, and this is actually one of the theories about it. Like the theory, this is actually kind of what a DMT trip would look like. Clearly, like you see the buildings down here, but then all of a sudden you have them right up the other side, up on the corner, and the other up on top of you. So this is a whole bunch of weird stuff right here. Like you see, like the buildings are moving all these weird shapes and angles. Like clearly, like one of the theories is that when the people who made the movie, they were on a DMT trip when they were writing it, or they actually had been on it before. And this is how they just they're trying to describe it make it as close as they possibly can. Now, is that possible? I don't know. Or maybe because it's Hollywood, the elites the Illuminati or lobbyists contacted Disney and Marvel and told them, hey, we're doing this. You need to put this with it. We're doing this, what with DMT. Maybe they probably didn't even mention it, but this is what they told them to do. You need to show like this kind of experience like this in your movie because we need to get the public ready for this because we have this transition period we're going to be involved in, and we need the people to be ready for it. So like, or like right here, like clearly you see this is actually all of one of the same building, but it's all in all these different parks and angles. Like clearly, like this is actually what a DMT experience by a lot of people would say. They would say this is what it looks like. Clearly, like it's so weird and so alien like clearly like all these experiences like this. There's so much weird stuff connected with it. With DMT, with these interdimensional beings, with the matter moving around in weird ways, and like clearly, I'm not saying I believe it 100%. Like that when you're doing DMT, you're seeing everything exactly like this. But I believe that DMT is probably one of the portals to the other side because I believe that there's spiritual energy everywhere. Like there's everywhere. And DMT is just the most direct access to the other side that you can take. And basically, and like what I believe that there is like something similar to the mirror dimension that is around us at all times. Because it's clear, you can clearly see through it. Like it's all around us, but you cannot affect the world around you. Which I believe that there is a dimension around us that can do that. And I believe that this DMT stuff, or whatever you want to call it, or these shrooms or other forms of psychedelics, this is what allows you to see this kind of stuff because like it's been proven, this has been scientifically proven that your brain is currently working in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension because there's a whole bunch of dimensions that are around us. Like in our dimension right here, we can see things whatever we want. I can see this around here, and et cetera, et cetera. But there's actually other dimensions around us. Like if you look at an ant, for instance, they're incredibly small when they're on the ground. And we can see them. But what do we look like to them? This gigantic monster-like thing, or whatever you want to call it, that is so much bigger than them and can crush them. So that's another form of like a reality or a dimension, because like you can look at it from many different ways. But this is what it truly is. It's almost alien-like or DMT-like to them. Now, I'm not saying it could be, but you can interpret that however you want. But like what I said, like it's been proven that our brain is currently working in all those different dimensions. And like also another thing is like it's been scientifically proven that we as humans, we like each individual human are a complete hive organism of all of our ancestors from not just our closest ones, but also the ones from hundreds to hundreds of thousands of years ago. Clearly, their aura is affecting us, and their traits, all the good and the bad and whatever, it takes upon us and like forms and creates one part of us. Now we still are given free will, like to create however our own legacy with it, but their aura affects us at all times. Just like someone has a dog, like the dog will always take on the aura of their master, because to me dogs are actually like they're actually more human than actual humans. I prefer dogs over humans. And also, if you look at dog, it's when you spell it backwards, it says God. God spelled backwards is dog, because and dog are man's best friend. And God put dogs here for us to teach us. And our mission is to just carry out. Our goal in life is to carry out God's mission, whatever it is. But dogs are here to help teach us, to guide us through that mission. So clearly, there's a whole bunch of weird stuff connected to this. Now, you can interpret it however you want, but that's just how I interpret it. And like something that Alex Jones said when he also talked about God and stuff like that, where he said he doesn't think God knows where he came from. I disagree with that completely, because God, he knows who he is. He created himself, and he also created the entire universe, not just us, but he created the entire universe and around us too, and the entire multiverse. Because DMT also proves the multiverse is real. There are other dimensions out there and other alternate universes. Like these beings, these elves or court jesters, do I think that they are actually from another dimension? Probably is, or unless they are actually some of the guardians and gatekeepers of the entire multiverse. Like they're the ones like trying to protect us and give us valid information. Now, there are definitely alternate universes out there as itself. But what I believe there are infinite universes out there. Like there's so many of them out there. Like there's infinite possibilities. Like all of different choices that we've made in life, like doing the exact opposite, like our lives going in completely different directions than what it is now. Like there's so much out there like that. Yeah, and also like the thing with the devil and stuff like that. Like in the Bible, the devil actually tricked them convinced Adam and Eve. I believe it was Eve too. It was at least Adam. I don't remember if it was Eve or not too, but at least it was Adam, where it tricked Adam into eating the fruit from the tree, which God said, do not do that. And God said, you can eat from any tree you want except this one. And basically, like, he was following God's rule, but the devil, who masqueraded as a snake, convinced Adam to do it and betray God, which made God sad and angry. And God basically turned Adam into nothing. Basically, like he wouldn't exist in any other reality or heaven or whatever or spiritual realm or like whatever that. And basically punished the snake by saying you will not walk anymore. You will only slither, which clearly that makes a whole lot of sense. You're punishing him for that because like he betrayed you, so he just completely deserves that. And also the thing about the multiverse in heaven and hell, this is my view on it. There is heaven and then there's hell. Well, there's heaven and hell, whatever you want to say. There is. And then there's actually another dimension, a spirit dimension, which here, my view is there's heaven and hell, and there's another spirit dimension in between. When you go to heaven, you're allowed to go to heaven if you were good in life and stuff like that. God allows you into heaven, and you're given eternal life right in there. Now, if you're bad, you go to hell, and you're punished for eternity, no matter. And that's how it just is. Now, you don't go. I don't think you go to heaven or hell immediately. You can go to the spirit dimension, until you cross over, whether you're good or bad, and then you can actually travel to our dimension right here at any time you want to. That's how I take it. That's how they do it. Once they travel they can travel out of that spirit dimension into our dimension at any time they want. But they can't transfer over until heaven or hell until they're ready or whenever. I believe they're given free will with that. But you can interpret that however you want. That's just how I interpret it. And and like also the multiverse, like they're actually when it's being proven too, like that, like obviously when I said that Hollywood makes them like what I would say the Illuminati and these lobbyists or in the elites, they make sure that Hollywood produces Hollywood the stuff that they want, like the multiverse and stuff like that. Like clearly, like they want this stuff out there to prepare the public for it. This is clearly what they want, and this could actually even lead into the metaverse, which I'll get into in a little bit. Well, but like if the elites did not want this stuff getting out, they would not allow Hollywood to make this kind of stuff. But they want it out, and they're just allowing them to do it. And like they're traveling to all, and plus they're pushing them not just this Doctor Strange movie, but in Spider-Man and like more other Marvel movies. They're pushing the multiverse all over, like because clearly they're trying to understand it themselves, and they're just going along with it as well because they're trying to prepare the public for it. Now, with the metaverse, clearly, like what my opinion on the metaverse is that they're calling it the Matrix they're calling it the metaverse because calling it the Matrix would be too obvious. Because like what they want us to do, what they want humans to do, they want us humans to be living in pods, eating bugs, and be plugged into the metaverse. Because that's their goal, so they can control and track us for eternity, and nothing would happen. And plus the metaverse, like right now, it doesn't look the best with the animation, but eventually the CGI and animation is going to look so good in the future that it's going to be indistinguishable from reality. You won't be able to tell the difference because like if you look at the Unreal Engine and these video graphics right now, it's so damn close to real life. It's not like with these sports games like football, basketball, UFC, and stuff like that. And then like it's so close. It's not quite there, but the way that the fighters are moving, like or the basketball players or football players are moving, it's so damn close. Like if you go like 10, 15, 20 years in the future, yeah, it's going to be indistinguishable. You're not going to be able to tell the difference between Unreal and not. That's just how it will become. So clearly, like, this is a whole bunch of weird stuff. They're just trying to prepare us for the metaverse. Is they want us living in pods, eating bugs, and be plugged into the metaverse, and so that they can track and control every little thing we do. And like clearly, there's so much weird stuff connected to this. Like you can interpret however you want. I know I've said that multiple times, but I just say things over and over multiple times. That's just how the way I talk. I can't control that, but that's just how I do. Excuse me, guys. But yeah, I believe that that these demons or and like what Aleister Crowley or like conjured up and like all these other demons, what they do is they can use like if they're easier to access through DMT and all these rituals. And like we talked about Bohemian Grove, which Alex Jones exposed, which Bohemian Grove is like this club in San Francisco. It's a plot of land where the elites, like former presidents go, top-ranking generals, heads of estates, top bankers, like all these elites, like Bill Gates and probably I don't know if Bill Gates does, but he might, or Klaus Schwab, I don't know. But also a bunch of movie actors, like they all go to Bohemian Grove and they do occult rituals and they have gay group sex with them. Like they literally light a statue. Like I'm gonna show you some of these photos. They literally light a statue of an effigy, a statue, I believe it's of a child or a woman, in front of a giant statue of Moloch, the owl god. Which in like actual mythology, Moloch is actually a bull, but the Bohemian Grove does it as an owl. Bohemian Grove. I'm gonna show you some of these photos. Like this is a whole bunch of dark shit right here. Like look at this. Like this is a statue of Moloch, the owl god, right here. That a better? It's too bright right there. But do you see that's Moloch? They're lighting an effigy, and all these people, they're actually dressed up in robes. They're dressed up as druids, and they're doing occult rituals. Like all this stuff is fucking weird. Or like right here, that I can't like you get the general idea right here. Like clearly, like these are a bunch of the elites. They're actually like someone this obviously is not a real photo, But what it is that they're actually photoshopped into this, like they're Satanists or Luciferians doing all these occult rituals, or like whatever you want to call it. And I know I've showed the video of Alex Jones exposing Bohemian Grove, but I want to show it again, like the full on video, like right here. Give me 1 second. Alex Jones, David. David Gergen, Bohemian Grove. Bohemian Grove. Let's see if this is actually the real video right here. Trying to find it right here. Is this the actual one right here? Right here. I believe this is it.
One last.
Right here. I'm gonna show you guys this video right here. This is the full-on video. David Gergen, who is actually a member of Bohemian Grove, I'm gonna show you, like, this guy is a member of Bohemian Grove and participates in the occult ritual. But like right here.
One last question. I read a Washington Times article many years ago where you had a comment about the organization, and then now it's been in the Wall Street Journal. It's been in a lot of different newspapers, and that's the Bohemian Grove. And back in, 1996, when you joined as a Clinton advisor, the Republicans were criticizing you. Oh, what about Bohemian Grove? And then you countered them by saying, "Hey, I don't run around in the woods naked." What did they Here is the before-mentioned Washington Times article where he said, "I didn't run around naked like they do."
Like you clearly see, like part of the ritual of Bohemian Grove, an all-male club, for instance, what they do is they all have a bunch of gay group sex. It's part of the ritual. Like part of it's like Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones and Bohemian Grove are actually related. Like they do pretty similar rituals. Like they have gay group sex. They bathe in feces and oil and feces, and like they do simulated human sacrifices with coffins and stuff like that. Like it's a lot of weird stuff.
I don't know what quote you're referring to. I'm not aware of any quote like that. Listen, I am a happy member of the Bohemian Grove. I like the folks who come there, and it's really inappropriate for me to talk about the group beyond that.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
As you guys are looking right here, this video is a video of a bunch of high-ranking people, elites, and dressed up as druids in robes. They're lighting a statue, effigy of a child or a woman, whatever one, in front of a statue, that giant statue of Molity Owl God. And now this video, where it came from, was Alex Jones, because Alex Jones actually snuck in there in 1998, I believe, 98, I believe it was 98, and he actually got a video of the ritual. And he was saying, like, when he was in there just watching it, recording it, he was saying, "Oh, this is really cool stuff." And then someone next to him told him, like, "Shut up, this is a very important ritual." And he said, like, "Okay, man, whatever." And then the person again said, "Shut up or I'll kill you." Like, literally, like clearly, these people take this shit seriously. Like, whatever this ritual is or whatever it's done, whether it's either a Satanist or it's a Luciferian ritual. I don't know which one, but it's one of them. So, yeah.
We thank thee for thy adjuration.
Have you been there for the ceremony with the cremation of care?
Frankly, I don't think that's something I need to talk to you about.
Really?
That's right.
Well, I'm Alex Jones, and I snuck in there in 2000. I'm the guy that blew it wide open.
Oh, 2000, my mistake.
And got the video. It's been on national TV.
Well, I disrespect you for that.
You do?
I do.
But it's a lot of big public officials going in there. Don't we deserve to know?
Yeah, we do deserve to know. We do.
I don't know anything about you, and I don't know anything about your film. But if you go in there with an understanding, you violated that understanding by releasing that film, and I don't respect you for that.
Really? Well, we have public officials there,
I'm sorry. You took an understanding when you went in there that you would not do that film. And did you have an understanding when you went in there?
No.
Did you crash it?
Yes.
Yeah, and it has no trespassing signs there too, doesn't it?
No, they put them up after.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just walked in.
I'm sorry.
He didn't do anything illegal. He just walked in and they just allowed him to do it. So if there's no trespassing signs and you guys are just letting him walk in, he didn't do anything wrong. You allowed him to. And so, yeah, he didn't. There's nothing wrong that happened.
Sir, I've been there before. I know what the circumstances are, and I'm sorry you violated the understanding. That was not a gentlemanly thing to do.
But what about the ritual? Is the
Gentlemen, yeah, look at what you guys are doing. You're lighting a effigy in front of a giant statue of an owl god, and you're also having gay group sex, and you're also doing simulated human sacrifices. Yeah.
ritual genuinely?
Legitimately, it's real right here. This is either a Satanist or a Luciferian ritual.
Sir, everything I don't owe you this comment.
I know.
This is what's called ambush journalism.
No, it's not.
I disrespect you for that as well. So thank you. And goodbye.
The ritual?
Leave your damn business.
He has been part of the ritual. I take it he has been.
Listen. You go around and make understandings with people and violate them. You ambush people on the streets, and that's inappropriate form of journalism. If you wish to practice,
he's not
that,
ambushing them,
but don't ask others to respect you for it. If you want to, you can do. You're a free American, like anything you want. If you want to be uncivil and rude and ungentlemanly, that's up to you. But don't expect the rest of us to say
ungentlemanly. You're being ungentlemanly.
Nobody sets policy in there. We try to be gentlemen.
Gentlemen, you're having gay group sex and you're doing occult rituals. Yeah, pretty gentleman-like. Really?
And obviously, you don't belong there.
Weaving spiders coming out here?
Like, you guys get this idea? Like, like obviously, also, the video I did about Bohemian Grove and Skull and Bones, that was the video that I did that got taken down. Like, clearly, like, they're trying to censor that kind of information. And it was taken down for C-19 information. And I know which line it was referring to, but all I was doing was just making a joke in that. So, and it was just some butthurt person that saw my videos, disliked a whole bunch of them, and saw that and then just reported them. Because that video was up for over a year and nothing happened. And all of a sudden, someone reported it and it got taken down. So, yeah, it was not just a huge coincidence. All of a sudden, this huge coincidence, my video got taken down or whatever. It was clearly planned. They wanted to ambush me, so they took it down just so that that could not get out there any longer. Because I've actually been having a fun time doing this podcast, and it's actually slowly growing over time now. It's getting bigger than it has been. I have more views than I've ever have, and I'm just growing at this point, and I'm just going to continue to grow. So yeah. So and now back to that. Before I go, I want to talk about that Alex Jones thing, where like I said, said Alan Watt. Alan Watt says that a lot of people are given fake information along with the real stuff to make them look bad. So, but I believe Alex Jones was being legitimate right here. That I do not believe that he was just let into Bohemian Grove. Like he just walked right in on his own. I truly believe that and got that video. And they truly are angry that got out. And and Alex Jones isn't the only person that infiltrated Bohemian Grove. Other people have too and got more photos and videos and stuff like that. And so yeah, it's a whole bunch of weird stuff that's connected to that. Like this isn't just some weird, just like if this was just a whole bunch of poor homeless people in the woods doing this, that would be weird. It would be. But the fact that you have these people, generals, former top-ranking generals, former presidents, billionaires, heads of states, bankers, actors, all of this kind of stuff. It's at minimum curious. Like, clearly, it's at least curious. Like, there's a whole bunch of weird shit connected to this. Like I said, what I believe part of this ritual has to do with them. They're trying to find the secrets of the universe so they can live forever. Just like Palpatine in Star Wars, his goal is to find a way to live forever. And the elites, whether or not I believe it's possible that they just copied that so that to make it look like that, who knows? Whether in Star Wars copied it to masculine it, who knows? Like you can view that however you want. I don't know, but there's clearly a lot of weird stuff connected to that because if you look at it, the government truly controls Hollywood. At the end of the day, that's just how it is, clearly. So, yeah. And these rituals, like at Bohemian Grove and Skull and Bones, and a few others, these clubs and these occults, these rituals, they are legitimate, and they're intended. They're trying to find whatever way they can to find the secrets of the universe and to call upon demons and the devil or their other forms of whatever gods they want. I believe that they think they're also worshiping other gods. Now, whether those other gods that they say they're worshiping, because guess what? There's only one true God, and it's the guy right up there. That's him. Now, whatever these things that they say are other gods, no, there's only one God. They're probably, with these other gods that they're referring to, they're probably just high-ranking demons, like evil, powerful demons that are so powerful that they're just masquerading as gods that work for Satan and Lucifer. But because Lucifer is pure evil, the one who controls all the demons, he sends them out on missions and do whatever he wants done. So that's just how I look at it. You can look at I said that. Look at it how you want to, but that's just how I view it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this episode up right now. We've talked a whole lot about this kind of stuff because this is a whole bunch of cool stuff right here. Sorry about that. I'm just moving the table over because it's been moved in a weird spot. So, yeah. All right, guys. Please like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notifications and share this video so we can beat the YouTube algorithm because we need to grow. We're trying to grow this podcast to beat the YouTube algorithm because this channel is shadow banned, and we're trying to break that shadow banning thing. Not like all these other channels, we need to help them break the shadow banning thing as well, because those channels right there that are not establishment need to grow as well. They need to. So yeah. Also, follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on CloudHub, Spotify, Minds, Gab, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and BitChute, and Rumble. Subscribe to me on all of them and follow me on all of those too. All right, guys, this is Ray from the Ray Infinity Show podcast. Catch you guys later. Peace!